So, went to go home, and my rear wheel bearing was, well, making a noise it wasn't making when I left to come in today. So I turned around, went back to the shop, and figured, you know what? I'm going to make a quick video about it, because I usually make videos about stuff after I've already done it, only because, well, I get pretty excited and just quick get it done, and it's done. So I thought, as well as I'm here, I'll show you the easy way to do a rear wheel bearing on a V70 XC. I already took the caliper off. Support it, don't let the hose support it. Just don't do that. That's not cool. Take your center bolt out. On these guys, the little bolt sticking out right there, it's a 17mm bolt. There's 4 of them. Take a little bit of PB Blaster and just put a small amount on the tip of it where those threads are poking out where you can see them. You don't need a ton. We're not trying to soak the e-brake shoes and everything else. You don't need to hose this thing up that much. Where everybody runs into problem is back here. If you look underneath, ooh, it's kind of messy, isn't it? Let's see if we can drag this guy over. We'll get way more light on it. So, if I can get my finger up there, this guy, this bolt right here, is the one that gives everybody grief. And that's because this guy, your lower control arm, is in the way, and everybody thinks they got to remove it. That's not the case. You don't have to take that off. You need to do a little tool modification. 17mm. You thinned it down. This is a snap-on. Everything I have is snap-on. I got about $500,000 in snap-on tools. Anyway, it's a 17mm snap-on wrench. The other end is a 19mm. The part number on the wrench, in case somebody wants to do this, is, man, I should have had my glasses on here to read. It is XBM. Looks like a 1719A. So there you go. It's a 17 and 19. You don't have to do anything with the 19mm end. It's the 17mm end. So what you're going to do is grind it down on this back side here, so it's about that thin. You can see the difference. That's how thick it was. That's how it is now. And now, with that in mind, you can, I'm going to have to read again. I'll try and get this to where you can see it better. And we'll get that in there. And with this guy being modified, if I can look around the camera, you can slide this guy in. Whoops, you gotta go this way when you start. So now once he's on, then you can bring it in, pull it out, turn it up, and just do that a few times. Once you've got them loose enough, you get your fingers up in there. You might have to work back and forth a little bit to do this, because it could be, you know, a little seasy. So what we're going to do is give them a little bit of back and forth time. Boy, that made a ringy dingy, didn't it? There we go. And you go till you can't go any farther. And that should be just about the end of it. Almost there. And there you go. He is all the way out. You cannot remove it because obviously the control arm is stopping it. But as you can tell, he's loose. Okay? So just leave him back and out of the way. Now you got these guys in the front. I'm going to shove this guy back underneath here. Yeah, that baby's bright. Okay. So this one I've already loosened up because you want to do them in a kind of across from each other diagonally. So this one I already pulled out. Now I've got that one out. Now we can go over and do this one up here in the top. Full disclosure, I broke the bolts loose before I started the video. I can do that. That's cheating. So there you go. Once you get all these guys out, then you can just kind of give that wheel bearing a few taps. You may have to really smack it to get it out of there. If you're going to have to beat the crap out of it, my suggestion would be pull the e-brake assembly out. It only takes a minute. Generally, you don't have to do that, but if you live in a really salty climate, then yeah, chances are you're going to be... This guy is down here. Ooh, he just came to a full stop. So we'll get this guy down here. Whoops. Works better when you have two hands. So he's down here. Now you just keep on it going. All that shaking with the camera, somebody's going to get seasick watching this video. But again, I was on my way home and had to turn back to the shop so I could quick replace it because, well, I won't drive my car with something wrong with it. Told you guys before, I'm really OCD. Okay, so all of these guys are out. Now he's not just going to fall out. I mean, I can grab him. We have a couple of different options at this point. We can, let me turn this light. We can hook a slide hammer to it, knock him right out. Or we can take a heavy hammer or like a brass mallet, and you can the sides here and see if it'll break loose, and you can just kind of walk them off. So we'll see if we can't do it that way. I had a dead blow mallet around here, one of my small ones. Oh, hey, look at that. We'll try this guy. See if a couple of nice whacks, carefully placed. Oh, look at that. Who's a lucky guy? This guy is. Okay, so once he's out, push the center to make sure your half shaft doesn't try to slide out with it. And there you go. You can see he's kind of filled and nasty looking, and yeah, he's just not great. So what you're going to want to do, and again, I'm trying to make this video short because, well, I wanted to go home. Up inside there where you see all that corrosion around the edge, you're going to want to get a wire brush and clear that out, and then anti-seize it before you slide them back in. I tend to use an old battery terminal cleaner. Let's see if I can find this guy. Oops. Told you, somebody's going to get seasick watching this video. And now I got crap all over my hands from that thing. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Don't pay attention to the messy top of my box. Everything else is clean. You know, all my other stuff. This is like not even a 1/16 of my stuff. So, just a regular battery terminal tool. And I'm trying to do this with sands here. So, again, let me wipe my hands off here. This video is running a lot longer than I wanted it to. Anyway, you can flip this, and there you go. This cap goes on the top of this, and the other end cleans the terminal. But this you can use to just kind of spin around inside, and it works really well for cleaning the heavier corrosion off of the seat where the wheel bearing is going to sit. So that'll get it all nice and cleared out. It'll make it easy for you. I'm using one of the longer wrenches. This is obviously a long wrench. The one that I'm using to break those bolts loose is this wrench with a flex head on it. And then I have the specialty wrench that I gave you the part number 2. And I have a third 13mm gear wrench that I was using to remove the caliper bolts. It was a 14mm socket to remove the center spindle nut, or the hub nut, and a 17mm for the 4 bolts to remove the wheel bearing. So that should get you going. Either way, pretty quick, simple job. The video is 10 minutes long, and I mean, if we took all that away, I probably got 4 minutes into a rear wheel bearing, and really, wheel bearing's out already. So I'm just gonna quick clean up my mess here around the edge. I will take, it's just standard anti-seize, and I'll put it around the base of the wheel bearing, slide it back in, and then reverse the procedure. So hopefully that helps somebody out there that's got to do a rear wheel bearing. They're not that bad. Don't take the rear control arm. If you do what I just told you to do and you modify the end of a box end wrench, and again, I know they make those S wrenches. You can probably get one from a Harbor Freight or something. I think I've got mine down to where it's an 1/8 to a 16-inch thick, and you can slide it right in there and break them loose. And some of them just won't come out. You know what I'm saying. You'll have to work it back and forth with each turn, and it'll get better and better as you go. Other than that, you should be good to go. Can't think of anything else I forgot because I'm in a hurry. I want to hit the road. I want to go home. I got a wife waiting and dinner. So yeah, good luck to you. If there's any questions, you know what to do. Message me. I can give you the answers to anything else, or if you want to know what other tools I used. Again, mine's all Snap-on stuff, so I don't know what the average DIY guy uses these days. I'm guessing Harbor Freight, or, well, I only know Harbor Freight because I drive by it every day. So I don't know what else you would use. Anyway, you get the idea. Easy wheel bearing project. Anybody can do this one. And again, sometimes they don't come out very easy. Mine, obviously, I got lucky. A couple of taps, it popped out. And I'm in Michigan. We got a lot of salt. If you can't break it loose, you might have to use like a 5-pound sludge. And what you would do is remove the e-brake assembly. Please remove the e-brake assembly. Don't try and strike the darn thing with the e-brake shoes in place. It only takes a couple of more minutes. Pull them off. You would then take a smaller 5-pound sledgehammer. I usually leave this one here. This is what I use on wheel bearings. I use this guy. This is a Blue Point sledge. He's not much smaller than my 5-pound dead blow mallet there. This is rubber, so he's not going to hurt anything. That's steel. What would happen is if you couldn't get the wheel bearing to pull out of here and it just wouldn't let go, you would then remove your springs, pull the shoes, get everybody to slide around out of your way. You would take the sledgehammer carefully, you would, where the bearing is in, and make sure you have that bolt out of the center. Don't attempt to do that with that in there. Then you would just take the sledgehammer from the top, give it a hell of a good slam on it, and that's usually enough to get him to break off of his seat, and then you just smack it from the bottom and the side. You're good to go. Put your e-brake stuff back on, slide the bearing back in. Yeah, call it a day. So what did I waste on there? About 14 minutes. So clearly I can do a wheel bearing on the rear end of a Volvo in about, I think my average is about 6 minutes. So yeah, not bragging, just saying. Anyway, make sure, I just use these quick ties here that you can pull in and out so that you're not putting all the stress on the cable here, or on the brake hose, or the ABS sensors. So I don't have to remove any of that. I don't even pull the pads, obviously, out of there. I just pull the 2 13mm bolts from the bracket. I collapse the pads a little bit, and I can slide that right off the rotor. Now when I go to put it back together, after everything's done, I'll put the rotor back on. I can slide the caliper right back onto it, put the 2 bolts in, throw my wheel back on after everything's torqued down, and I'm on the road. So there you go. I think I've covered that pretty good. Anyway, I'd show you how to do it putting it back together, but unfortunately I need both hands now to put everything back in. So there you go. That's my help for the day. Have a good one.